Hey, today we're going with a new manhwa. Leave a like, if possible subscribe. Almost 5 in the afternoon, a classmate asks Ren Shi if he wants to play light years tonight and form a team during the summer vacation. Excited, Ren Shi bangs on the table. He says that summer vacation is still a month away and he can't wait that long. A classmate asks him if he plans to skip class. The next one is Professor Pharaoh's. Running down the hallway, Ren Shi states that no one can stop him from playing this game. In the distance, a girl with glasses and purple hair watches Ren Shi. He stops in surprise when he hears his name. It's the class representative. The girl is shocked and irritated by her classmate's sudden escape. Without thinking twice, She runs towards the window to try to jump. The representative watches him. He propels his body using his hands on the windowsill. With a scream, the boy manages to jump out the window. The representative is amazed. Outside, the landing isn't the best. Ren Shi, however, succeeds. The girl yells for Ren Shi to come back. He asks her to make up an excuse with the teacher, saying that she is sick. With her cheeks puffed out, the girl shows her irritation. She clearly did not buy the excuse. Her determined look behind her glasses indicates that she will not let this go. In a residential building at dusk. Inside a room, the clock reads almost 7 in the evening. She is sitting on the bed with a VR helmet. The game Stellaris will be released at 7 in the evening with character creation starting soon. Holding the helmet, he thinks about the cycle of life. Studying, exams, college, work, an ordinary and mediocre life. Excitement takes over Ren Shi. He sees the game as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, reciting phrases from game masters in his head. As he puts on the helmet, he thinks about the game. Stellaris is the first with virtual universe technology, recognized as a second home. In addition, the first to reach level 1000 becomes a shareholder, gaining wealth and fame. But the best players in the world will all enter Stellaris. Defeating them at the top of the world and becoming the strongest human is his ultimate dream. Ren Shi. His younger sister cries that the piggy bank broke again. She asks if he was the one who broke it and claims to have seen his new helmet. The little girl bangs on the door, demanding that Ren Shi open it. She threatens to tell her parents about the stolen money and says that her brother will earn money in the game to pay her back. Suddenly, the time on the clock seems to speed up. The screen shows the login to the world of light years. A message welcomes the adventurer as the system processes the entry. The login to the game is completed successfully. Soon after, a personal assistant appears before him. This guide will help him during the character creation. Shyly, the guide covers the lower part and asks what Ren Shi is doing. Looking closely, the boy claims to be just checking the quality of the modeling. He gives a thumbs up, praising the rich details, textures, and lighting. The NPC's reactions also seem very lively to him. For the first step, the guide asks him to enter his game ID. Ren Shi decides that he wants to use the name Stellaris, the same as the game's name. The guide informs him that this ID is already registered. Irritated, she wonders what idiot would steal that name shamelessly. She then tries to use 7 Stars as his nickname. However, that name is also already registered by someone else. Several attempts, such as Stellaris 123 and 111, fail. Morning Star, Mars, and Venus are also already taken, leaving the boy with no options. Unexpectedly, a notification pops up on the screen. An ID is available for use. The protagonist is surprised by the notification. He wonders what crazy ID ended up being accepted. The available ID is Yan Xing, which could mean attractive star. Ren Shi quickly asks to change it to Yan Xing, meaning fake star. Confirmation pops up on the screen. The ID Yan Xing, fake star, is available. Relieved, he thinks that fake star sounds pretty cool too. The guide proceeds to step 2, character creation, offering 2 options. The boy asks what the difference is between a standard character and an immersive character. The guide begins to explain that the default offers limited race and attribute point options. For greater immersion, the system offers to create a race based on the player's qualities, while the second option will give more chances for different stories. Excited, the protagonist chooses option 2, because he believes that randomness has always created miracles. Confirming the selection, the system then begins to analyze the player closely. Several types of analysis are made, such as personality, physical fitness, and even social relationships. The analysis is quickly completed. The boy boasts, asking if the system noticed that he is a genius combat master, expecting a god-level race. However, the result of the analysis calls him a social parasite, lazy, ignorant, and useless, leaving the young man shocked, asking how this is possible. The system then welcomes him to Stellaris, wishing him good luck and saying that they will meet again at level 1000. Irritated, the boy shouts that he cannot accept this, stating that the game definitely has problems. In a dark place, the boy confirms that the reincarnation was successful, but wonders if he was devoured by a monster right after. He quickly tries to check his attributes and open his inventory. The system informs him that he has not yet been born. That is why he cannot see his attributes, making the young man realize that he is inside an egg. Unable to see his appearance, race, or attributes, the boy thinks that this immersive character mode is great, because the feeling is incredible. Outside, voices welcome the rulers to the birth ceremony of the future leader of the Black Dragon tribe. The protagonist realizes that it must be the introduction of the character, noticing the important figures mentioned. Surprised by the birth ceremony, the boy realizes that he has been reincarnated as the future ruler of the Black Dragon tribe. In the official history of Stellaris, adult dragons are legendary creatures of level 600, and black dragons are among the 3 strongest branches. The protagonist thinks that the system has been good to him despite the bad evaluation. Feeling his body, the boy notices that he has a long shape and seems to have a tail. They order him to prepare to hatch while they await his birth. The young man declares that with him the tribe will rise to greatness, and that he will lead the dragons back to their peak. Upon feeling the shell, he finds it soft, assuming that his claws are super sharp. They will cut through iron like butter, and breaking the egg will be easy. So he tries to open it. With a sound of something breaking, the protagonist finally declares that he has been born. We see a dark and dense forest. The point of view is from below. During the day, the sunlight passes through the leaves of the tall trees, near a white cocoon attached to a trunk. A bright green creature manifests itself, fully visible now. The green creature has a cute appearance and seems a little lost. Looking down, the little green being sees a large black egg surrounded by several smaller dragons. The creature is shocked to realize its situation. He wonders if it is just a cocoon next to the protagonist. Desperately, the little bug tries to open its attribute panel. The attribute panel appears, revealing its name as Yanxing. Its race is parasitic caterpillar with a racial value of only 10 points. The screen compares it to the common human race, which has a racial value of 50 points and a maximum level of 500. Details about racial values appear, explaining the power levels of the races. Yanxing panics when he sees that he only gains 10 points per level. Crying, the poor thing regrets not having reincarnated into a strong race, but soon recovers, determined to change its destiny. Looking at the egg below, the little bug declares that it witnessed the birth of the Black Dragon Prince, and its coming was not in vain. Yanxing then blesses the future prince, wishing him to rule the continent, and bids farewell, leaving immediately. The bug reflects that perhaps it got too excited about the game. It thinks that it could simply delete the character and create another. At that moment, a system message appears in front of it. She informs him that a black dragon egg has been found and can be collected. The possibility of getting the egg leaves Yanxing completely surprised. Meanwhile, the dragons discuss the eggshell, which seems to be quite resistant. One of them mentions that the metal shells took 10 days. Taking advantage of the dragon's distraction, the small insect approaches and lands on the large black egg. Suddenly, the Black Dragon King seems to notice something strange. Looking at the place where the egg should be, the Dragon King shouts, asking where it went. The small green being wonders about an egg in that place. He thought that no one wanted that place. A notification appears informing him that he obtained an unhatched black dragon egg. Suddenly, a dark dragon appears in front of the small being. He uses a forbidden spell called the Divine Binding Technique. The dragon stares at the small being, calling him an insect. Then he announces that he chooses self-destruction. The small green being is completely paralyzed and in shock. Soon after, a powerful column of energy explodes into the sky. Multiple system notifications appear on the screen. They inform that the player, Yan Xing, has been finished and has won several titles for being the first to do certain things. Despite this, he has become the sworn enemy of the dragon race. Holding the dragon egg, Yan Xing is super excited. With a start like that, he is already aiming for level 1000 and invincibility. A strange noise catches Yan Xing's attention, leaving him confused. Soon after, a giant level 3 bird appears flying towards him. The boy is terrified by the sudden appearance of the monster. The bird quickly pulls him off the branch where he was. The monster then begins to spin rapidly in the air, throwing the little protagonist hard against the tree trunk. Yan Xing complains furiously that there is no honor in combat. The bird attacked a poor level 1 like him by surprise. The impact pins him under the tree branch. He realizes that he can only hang like that because he does not have a human body. Meanwhile, the giant bird peers over the branch looking for him. Realizing that the bird has locked onto him, he accepts this as an invitation to duel. Yan Xing claims he has never refused one. A notification pops up showing that he has equipped a beginner's iron sword. The description says it is junk and came from the blacksmith's apprentice, Zhang Wei. Attacking a large blue bird, the protagonist decides to test what combat is like in Stellaris. The bird reacts to the blow by appearing stunned. The protagonist notices that it has no attribute points. It only caused 2 damage to its defense. Wielding his sword, the small green being provokes the angry bird, calling it to bite him. Quickly, the blue bird attacks with a peck, hitting only the tree trunk where the protagonist was hanging. Managing to climb up the trunk, the protagonist declares that having the advantage of the terrain practically defines the outcome of the duel. Taking advantage of the advantageous position, the green being begins to strike the bird's legs repeatedly. He finds this fight intense and exciting. After so many blows to the legs, the blue bird finally falls defeated, with his life bar reaching 0 for the victory. The protagonist rises to level 2, gaining a good amount of experience in the process. A notification appears on the screen. For repeatedly attacking the same body part, he has earned the title Pedicure Master. This title increases the damage to the feet of other creatures by 30%. In addition to giving a 1% chance of instant kill, the protagonist finds the name peculiar and decides to equip it. Looking at the slaughtered bird on the ground, the protagonist regrets that no useful items were dropped. He will have to use the beginner's sword for a while longer. After surviving this small crisis, the green one decides not to rush to level up. First, he needs to carefully plan his path of advancement. Thinking about his items, the protagonist focuses on the problematic dragon egg. A notification informs him that he is a mortal enemy of the dragon race, being unable to hatch the egg normally. For this, he will need an opportunity. Selling it is also impossible, since the item was obtained by giving up the Dragon Island dungeon. Next, he analyzes the Resurrection Ring, which grants an extra revive per day when equipped. However, the protagonist is shocked to realize the item's level. An explanation of item levels and colors in Stellaris appears. The screen shows the rarity ratings of the items, ranging from common to ultimate. The Resurrection Ring is mythic tier, a piece of equipment worthy of being crafted by a legendary dragon. It also has a quest item tag, signifying that the story of Dragon Island is not over yet for the protagonist. Looking at the other items he has received, the protagonist sees the unlimited food ticket. Classified as a Lord-tier treasure, he decides to save it to use later when he is hungry. Next, come the basic items of the beginner set, all of common rarity. In addition to the beginner's iron sword, There is a cloth tunic and beginner's pants. They add small attribute bonuses. Being better than nothing, the protagonist decides to equip them. Upon equipping the tunic, the protagonist gains 10 defense, while the pants give 5% movement speed. However, a notification warns that due to the incompatibility of the current model, the visual effects of the equipment cannot be displayed. He then wonders if he will be without visible clothes forever, shifting focus to skills. The protagonist remembers that he currently only has one innate skill. Looking again at the body of the blue bird on the ground, the protagonist then decides to use his only skill, parasitism. Immediately, the body of the little green being begins to glow brightly in yellow. As the skill is activated, a green energy begins to manifest rapidly. This energy then wraps around the tree, trapping the little blue soul there. Suddenly, the protagonist's avatar's head emerges from the energy. The system informs that the parasitism was successful, transforming him into an eagle. Excited, the boy now in the bird's body celebrates being able to finally fly. His original body may be weak, but parasitism allows him to take other bodies as his own. He just needs to prepare them in advance. The 20 attribute points he gained all go to Constitution, increasing his total life considerably. Now, as an iron-beaked eagle, he needs to find stronger bodies and start leveling up. Flying around, he spots a level 6 magical rabbit, noticing that his life seems quite high. Soon after, a level 25 yellow mutant wolf appears, too strong for him at the moment. Worse still, a level 43 berserk goblin appears, impossible to deal with right now. Better to focus on something weaker, like that level 5 flower mantis nearby. However, the boy encounters a level 8 golden pattern venomous spider, his natural enemy. Landing on a nearby branch, the eagle watches the situation from above carefully. The small avatar is still visible on the eagle's forehead as he surveys his surroundings. Below, a colony of level 7 fire ants is climbing the tree to hunt the spider. The giant spider prepares for the imminent attack of the approaching ants. Several ants begin to fire acid projectiles in the direction of the venomous spider. They have terrible aim, missing every attack and looking like they're about to be defeated. The spider is strong and would be useful for parasitizing, but he thinks he's missed his chance until a new idea strikes him. A mysterious green energy begins to pulse in the darkness. On a tree trunk, a large spider is seen. It appears to be fighting several red ants. Suddenly, a sound of something breaking echoes through the place. Looking from below, the ants realize that the spider seems to be in trouble. Losing its grip, the giant insect plummets to the ground. Riding a bird, our peculiar protagonist sees his chance. He plans to parasitize the spider even at the risk of the ants. Cornered, the spider releases some kind of toxic explosion. The nearby ants seem to be watching closely on a nearby branch. A close-up reveals that the spider's life bar is critically low. Deciding quickly, the protagonist launches himself towards the strongest target, choosing to parasitize. A system message appears initiating the parasitism, warning that the target is strong and needs to be checked. Now inside, the protagonist shouts at the spider, saying that handing over the body is the only way out. Meanwhile, the ants don't wait and start attacking the spider. The spider's life visibly decreases, taking 30 points of damage. Success is announced when the parasitism ends. The spider's original life reaches 0. Understanding the new mechanics, the protagonist realizes that he has gained a durability bar based on the spider's previous life. Taking control, the protagonist promises to take care of the ants, now using the arachnid body. Immediately, the newly controlled spider prepares to shoot web. The initial plan is to use the web to escape the enemy siege. Using the web as a tool, the protagonist skillfully escapes, leaving the ants behind on the ground. The spider creature is on a tree branch. Using resources and terrain is the key to strongholds. Then he orders a poisonous spray. The target is the tree trunk. The green liquid hits the wood. Red ants climbed up there. Stepping on the poison activates a special attribute. The title Pedicure Master increases foot damage by 30%. There is also a 1% chance of instant kill. Quickly, an ant steps on the slime. The substance begins to take effect on it. Several other ants are also hit. They take 30 points of damage each. Climbing the tree, the spider continues the attack. It covers the entire trunk with more poison. More ants are caught in the toxic trap. They all take continuous damage from the substance. Satisfied, the spider reflects on the situation. No player could deal area damage so soon. However, being creatures of the same level, the damage is not fatal. The spider decides to climb even higher to gain an advantage. Using her ability, she shoots a thread of silk. The web sticks to an upper branch. She then pulls out the beginner's sword with the web. The spider asks if the enemies know gravity. The web-wrapped sword begins to fall. She descends at high speed towards the insects. With a well-aimed strike, the sword hits an ant. The insect's HP instantly drops to 0 immediately. Afterwards, the spider pulls the sword back. The silk thread quickly retracts the weapon. The sword attack is repeated several times. Many ants are eliminated with 0 HP. Thanks to the killing, the spider levels up quickly. It reaches level 4. The bodies of the dead ants cover the ground. The combination of attacks cannot be used too many times in a row. Even so, the pedicure master was quite effective in the kills. The spider wonders if the fire ant nest is nearby. The bodies seem to have attracted more enemies. It feels that it has done its duty with this spider body for now. Jumping from the branch, the creature moves on. The next phase of its journey begins now. Landing hard, the black and yellow spider impacts the ground violently. Quickly, the spider bites the ant's leg joint, claiming it to be its weak point. The weak point attack works, but the ant is instantly defeated. Its HP is zeroed. Even without hands, the spider spins rapidly, using its legs as sharp blades. From its back, thin threads of web are continuously fired. The threads trap multiple red ants, immobilizing them in the air. Using the captured insects, the spider creates an improvised armor for physical blocking. A larger and darker spider advances, shouting orders to finish off the enemies. The creature's attack causes an impact on the forest, as it complains about the rebellion of the weakest. Facing the remaining ants, the spider recognizes their bravery, calling them heroes of the forest. Over the remains of the enemies, the black and yellow spider declares its final victory in the battle. However, the protagonist ant celebrates with the others, saying that joining the winner is the best strategy. The battle ends, and the protagonist ant asks its new brothers about returning to the nest and when it's time to eat. Realizing its situation, the ant now has basic combat power, ready to start leveling up. Seeing one of its new brothers, the protagonist decides to take advantage of the situation to test something. A system warning appears, questioning the attack on an ally of the Type 1 poisonous fire ant colony, confirming the alliance. The skill panel shows March to Guide, Group Attack, and Formic Acid Spray that increases damage by 1 point twice. He will guide the colony. Using the March skill, the protagonist commands the ants to advance in formation. The group of red ants continues together, marching through the vegetation under the command of the leader. Onward, they locate a target. Level 5 demonic thorns, and the plan is to devour it completely. A level 7 green worm is attacked by the ants. Someone warns it not to try to get close by wiggling. Soon after, a strange level 9 forest monster is also attacked by the ants. We see the protagonist ant's worried face up close. A larger ant reprimands our protagonist. She tells him not to relax and to think better if his damage is low. Continuing the sermon, the largest ant says that they were born to work. Lazy ants are worthless, and he should be grateful for being tolerated. She claims to be disappointed because she has been watching him for a long time. She explains that teamwork requires systematic thinking and coordination in attacks. Suddenly, the protagonist's level goes from 8 to 9. Unexpectedly, a level 10 demon cat appears. With one blow, the cat crushes some ants on the ground. He complains that the young ants are fragile and make a fuss when the fight gets tough. We notice that as the opponent's level increases, the casualty rate of low-level ants increases a lot. Our protagonist then suggests going to the ant hill. There are stronger workers and even the queen to optimize the team. In this way, the protagonist levels up again, going from 9 to 10. Message congratulates player Yan Xing for being the first on the server to reach level 10. He gains the title Level Freak and a 3% experience bonus. His level 10 parasitic caterpillar stats are shown. Another message informs him that he has met the requirements to class advance in the city. For being the first player to meet the level 10 condition, he receives the Epic Reward Profession Fusion Scroll. We see the Epic Level Profession Fusion Scroll. He can designate 2 profession scrolls to fuse, having a good chance of creating an entirely new hidden profession. Holding the item, the protagonist celebrates, recognizing how generous the rewards for pioneering players really are. He then decides to open his inventory to reorganize everything. Inside the inventory, there are only a dragon egg and an unlimited food ticket. Below are listed the newly acquired items, including the scroll, armor, and gauntlets. He notices that he only got 2 common equipment, but decides to use them anyway. When trying to equip, a message warns that the model is incompatible and the visual change failed. However, his health, mana, and defense status have increased considerably. He doesn't care about appearance. The important thing is to increase his HP. Our little green guy lists what he needs to do, how to level up, equipment, and skills. In addition, he needs to return to the city, advance in class, and activate the main story. Suddenly, the little one is shocked by something. A level 6 rabbit appears in front of him, and he asks what the little green guy is looking at. After all, he's never seen such a beautiful protagonist before. Irritated, the little green guy hits the rabbit, but he says that he doesn't need to get angry just for having an opinion. Without wasting time, the protagonist uses the Parasitize skill. A notification confirms the success of the parasitism, leaving the big bunny half airy. The little green guy then notices something strange. Apparently, the rabbit has entered a special state. A trial takes place every minute, with a 10% chance of freeing himself. With a red face, the rabbit seems confused. The little green guy also doesn't understand anything. Soon after, a notification warns that he has lost control of his body, and the rabbit runs around like crazy. The little green one complains because he didn't finish reading the information. Out of control, the rabbit finds a female rabbit, who was calmly picking up some carrots. In the blink of an eye, he advances towards her, arriving faster than when he activated the parasitism. The protagonist realizes that the speed of doing things has increased considerably. Without warning, the rabbit jumps on top of the rabbit to show his love. The little green one is surprised by the realism of the #1 game in the world. But this is bad. No one can know about him and the rabbit. Out of nowhere, the rabbit's expression changes to pure astonishment. A system window informs him that he has entered a state of fear. Something strange appears on the rabbit's butt. He is in King Rabbit Alka's territory and has violated the rules. This provoked Alka, a Lord-level creature, that needs a team of 5 or more players of the same level to perhaps defeat. A boss that can reach level 300. The hatred will not end anytime soon. Finally, a real challenge. The protagonist's blood is boiling. He shouts battle. Moving completely to another location, we see a luxurious corridor. A voice asks the leaders of all nations to follow there. Officials talk about the server rewards that have been drawn. The first 1,000 players are from Country A. Jonathan has the highest base value as an unparalleled interdimensional god. Country C also has a strong dragon descendant. Country Y believes it will become #1. Federation G obtained the Death Jackal. Unfortunately, they did not get the body of the God of Light or the incarnation of the Golden Divine Insect. Their top players only have a racial value of 80, while those from our country have reached 90 points. This official is envious of the chosen presidents who can settle scores. As a regular player, he is already happy to have obtained the 2nd-generation werewolf bloodline. His racial value is 56. Thinking about another player, he notices that she is a flower fairy. Her racial value is 58. A race with extremely high natural affinity but low combat power. Another player is in a worse situation with a magical puppet cyborg. His racial value is 52. An unconventional race that requires a lot of investment to slowly improve. Approaching the door, the guard thinks that there are the brightest figures of the future there. He can hardly imagine who could match them. The door begins to open, revealing what is on the other side. Suddenly, an arm separated from the body appears behind the door. Soon after, something else falls to the ground, indicating that the owner of the arm is no longer whole. Shocked, the officer recognized the person. It was Lord Jonathan of Country A. When he opens the door fully, the scene is terrible. The top players who were waiting were all slaughtered. Immediately, panic sets in among the leaders. Shouts of terrorist attack echo. Orders to protect the national leaders and evacuate are given. They ask who did this to Jonathan. A figure emerges amidst the chaos. She scorns those present, calling them useless obstacles. She states that she will give them no chance. Amidst the fallen, she introduces herself. Before her name is known, they can call her the female protagonist. She declares that characters are born of inspiration with a mission. Her own mission is to complete the main journey of this story. Returning from rebirth, she knows the solution to the final riddle. Turning to leave, she issues a challenge. She asks if they want to complete the dialogue with Yahello by reaching level 1000 first. She then reveals the true and shocking condition. One must possess 30,000 beads, and all of them must reach level 1000. She states that humans cannot achieve this. Only those who have seen Yahello and races of transcended power could do it. She declares herself the only hope. The officers do not believe what they have heard. They ask where this lunatic came from. Security is ordered to use their weapons against her. Despite the imminent threat, the girl maintains a calm and determined look. With her back turned, the mysterious blonde stares at the group of suited men in the hallway. She wonders if she could be cooling their heads. A blonde girl asks if their answer is really about wanting to wipe out all the world leaders. This was to be expected. The author wanted big news, and the readers wanted to see something shocking. Even so, she questions whether they insist on this, despite it not making sense. Mountains, rivers, and the vast ocean are mentioned, followed by skyscrapers, ships, and even flying ships. Someone explains that their world is false, just like their bodies. After the destruction of Earth, humanity wandered into space, and that is where the story begins. In the so-called real world, a sinister entity known as Yahello blocked the human spaceship. The mastermind, Pangu, built a virtual reality world, hiding the truth about Earth's destruction, keeping humans adrift in an era of peace. To deal with Yahello, Pangu created the world called Star Cluster. Everyone believed that the person capable of solving the problem would emerge from there. The narrator and 4 teammates made a pact. They would reach level 1000 at the same time, earning the right to face Yahello in the real world. Their brains were ejected from the spaceship in capsules, but at that moment, something happened. That moment seemed infinite and super short at the same time. Time sped up and went back. They were like a breeze in the meadow, without attracting the attention of the sun, which did not see them. The star cluster plan failed. Upon waking, the narrator was no longer human. He evolved. The brain was no longer an essential organ for his existence, and he returned alone to the ship. Surprisingly, he found himself on the day of the launch of the star cluster. He wonders if he was reborn. But no, Pangu just reset everyone's memories in the virtual reality. A bald and furious man shouts that she is talking nonsense because she is before the spiritual leader of humanity, the true pioneer who knows the truth of the world. Angry, the same man orders his subordinates to advance, attack the girl, find her brain, and destroy it completely. Observing the reaction of the 5 supreme leaders, the girl notices that they don't seem afraid. Pangu has already prepared a backup, unless she destroys Pangu herself. Welcoming them, One of the leaders notices that she seems to have gone through something incredible. In the background, the bald man is astonished, wondering if Pangu would really reset everyone's memories. Another leader then declares that humanity will be grateful to her, but that will only happen if she succeeds this time. With a serious tone, a blue-haired man warns that people who think they are protagonists don't usually have a good ending. He advises her not to think she can face the entire world alone. The bald man reinforces that Pangu has given them the ultimate authority and they can only trust Pangu's judgment. The other leader challenges her, if she is really the protagonist, to open the star route for humanity. The girl then imposes herself, revealing that when facing Yahello, the desire to save humanity drove her in her evolution. She states that they can call her savior, prophetess, leader of evolution, and guide of the star route. Turning to the leaders who had previously threatened her, she comments that those nuisances have already caused her problems. She does not want them to appear again, as she finds their presence detestable. Above, a digital panel displays the time. With determination in her eyes, the blonde announces that at 7 o'clock, the Star Cluster server will be opened, and she intends to enter immediately. After the order, the subordinates and leaders begin to leave the place, leaving the girl alone in the vast hall, observing everything. At that moment, Pangu sends a direct message to the main leader's brain. The new orders are to continue fully supporting the development of the Star Cluster, without the need for a vote. The brains of the players who have left will be sealed and will not return in this generation. The leaders of the smaller nations will also learn the truth, and more information will be released to them. Pangu considers that there is no longer any need to reset memories, believing that more variables can lead to the answer. A short time later, the blonde girl appears in a city with medieval-style buildings. She has finally entered the virtual world of the Star Cluster. Finally getting rid of the formal attire she was wearing, she comments that those tight clothes were in terrible taste. Reflecting on her strategy, she thinks that in the early stages, with low stats, the boost provided by equipment is necessary, although being bare will maximize her athletic ability, unless a divine artifact that cancels all weights is found. A memory from her previous life comes to mind. A nobody with a divine dimensional lineage obtained such an item. He even went so far as to dismantle the main cannon of a planet-class ship to use it as his main weapon, with one movement. With a quick swipe of her finger, the girl decides to check her stats. She then opens her attribute bar. In front of the blonde, a screen displays her initial stats. She has placed all 50 of her attribute points in agility, leaving strength, constitution, intelligence, and charisma at 0. Her base life and mana are 50, with attack and defense at 1, in addition to a movement speed of 500%. When trying to register her name, the young woman decides to use Jue Xing, the same as in her previous life, meaning the brightest star that crossed the sky. To her surprise, the system informs her that this ID is already in use. Confused, the girl sees a notification with a question mark. Soon after, the system shows that the ID Xue Xing is available for confirmation. Surprised, the blonde wonders if someone entered Zhu Xing and then canceled it. She considers the possibility that her 4 teammates have also returned. Perhaps they are trying to send her a signal through her name. Deciding, she confirms the ID Yue Xing. She thinks that if someone wants to cause trouble, they will come anyway. Her main goal now is to obtain the treasure of the beginner's village. With her name confirmed, the girl runs through the streets of the medieval city. The surrounding NPCs are amazed, observing the impressive speed of the newcomer. Due to her extraordinary agility, a notification appears. She receives the title, Fast as an Illusion. Her movement speed increases by 50% and her attack speed by 10%. In addition, she acquires the skill Illusory Attack, which replicates the damage caused. Arriving at her destination, the blonde finds a man sitting in front of the Jiangji blacksmith. The man, with a relaxed air, comments that the adventurer seems to have arrived a little early. In her thoughts, the girl recognizes the man. He calls himself the strongest blacksmith in the beginner's village. a foul-mouthed type. But he is a crucial NPC because through him it is possible to meet another important character in the story, who is hidden. Ignoring the importance of the adventurer, the blacksmith complains rudely. He asks her to move out of the way as she is blocking his son. With a confident look, she reflects on her capabilities for transcending humans and can simulate programming language, issuing weak commands to slightly modify data. However, she will need to make up for it later to not anger Pangu. Looking at the sky, the girl then decides to ask for a favor. She asks Pangu to send her money, specifically 100,000, promising that she will pay him back later. Instantly, a notification appears in her vision. The amount of 100,000 appears in her account, showing that her request has been granted. With the money in hand, the blonde turns to the blacksmith and makes her request. She wants to buy weapons without level or class restrictions, with the best attributes and the most expensive of all types. Surprised, the man comments that if she is so rich, she can take the store's treasure. But if she cannot pay, he will call the guards. The blacksmith then presents an option, a lord-level dagger, which he says will be useful up to level 300. He suggests a price of 10,000 gold coins, questioning whether it is not a fair price. Before Zhu Xing, the blacksmith explains that this sword was made using a technique from a hidden NPC, presented as the Stabber of Justice. The weapon grants 50% extra damage against monsters. However, the materials in the village are of low quality, making it a toy among weapons of the same level. Within the game Star Cluster, the drop rate is low. Many players at level 300 still use green equipment. This sword has the light attribute and a good base damage bonus, being the first Blue Lord weapon for many. However, undeterred, Zhu Xing places the dagger against the blacksmith's neck. She offers 1,000 gold coins and demands 4 other weapons with the same terms and price. Surprised by the girl's audacity, the blacksmith tries to keep his initial offer, stating that it is 10,000 coins. Completely intimidated, the man begs Yue Xing to put the blade away. He shouts that he will become a divine blacksmith and asks not to be hurt. Walking away, Zhu Xing questions why he is hiding and warns him that his bad temper will lead him to a bad end. The blacksmith mutters that the wicked will meet their punishment one day. As he searches, the blacksmith recalls that in a past life, a player recruited him, and he had indeed forged a divine weapon. At that time, the average level of players was 600, and divine weapons were not rare. Finally, the man presents the weapons, informing that he has brought all kinds, as per Zhu Xing's request. Among the items are the shining iron bow, the shining staff, and other elite weapons, as well as common equipment such as knives and swords, all for 10,000 coin. With a simple negotiation, Zhu Xing hands over the bag of coins. A notification pops up detailing the 13 pieces of equipment acquired, including the Stabber of Justice. Zhu Xing reflects that in Star Cluster it is possible to create unique fighting styles. She plans to import all of her weapon skills from her previous life. Instantly, notifications confirm mastery and 30% additional damage with various weapons. Due to her versatility, a new notification pops up. Zhu Xing gains the title Weapon Master, which grants 20% more damage on the next weapon when switching in combat. With the new title and the 5 main weapons, Zhu Xing plans to clear low-level monsters quickly. Her goal is to reach level 10 and be the first on the server. While the blacksmith urges her to leave so as not to disturb her rest, Zhu Xing already has other plans. She will not wait for level 20, as she knows the location of the secret NPC and will go straight to him. With a confident smile, Zhu Xing announces that she will go into the wilderness to hunt monsters. She holds her dagger, ready for action. Quickly, a level 3 wild rooster appears, and Zhu Xing quickly switches weapons to deal with the creature, which sprays its red liquid. Facing a level 5 deer, she demonstrates her expertise. Once again, the weapon switch is instantaneous to a bow. Soon after, a level 2 slime appears in her path. Using a staff, Zhu Xing defeats it with magic. Against a level 7 pigman, the warrior uses dual daggers. She leaps on the monster for a sure attack. Then, a level 8 demonic wolf crosses her path. With a large sword, Zhu Xing delivers a powerful blow. Reaching level 9, Zhu Xing remembers that the first chapter has 10 bosses. Defeating them for the first time grants higher-level equipment, and she wants them all. Before her, the imposing Thunder Tiger Tage appears. The level 10 boss roars, ready for combat. Without hesitation, the Thunder Tiger leaps towards Zhu Xing. The beast bares its sharp claws. Zhu Xing does not retreat. She also advances towards the enormous boss, preparing her attack. With a focused and determined gaze, the girl analyzes the monster. Her eyes shine with anticipation of the battle. Using her mastery, Zhu Xing spins in the air, summoning several weapons. She unleashes a sequence of blows against the tiger. A powerful impact hits the Thunder Tiger. The boss feels the force of the weapon master's coordinated attack. Finally, the boss's health bar reaches 0. The Thunder Tiger is defeated, falling to the ground. Victorious, Zhu Xing looks at the monster's body on the ground. The first boss of the starting area has been successfully defeated. With a gleam in her eyes, the blonde girl declares that she is the star, capable of annihilating everything with super-fast attacks and burning intensely. After the victory, notifications appear on the screen. Zhu Xing earns the title of Tiger Slayer, which increases her dodge by 20% against larger beings. Additionally, she creates a heroic skill, Sacrificial Strike, which increases her attack by 500% in exchange for health, mana, and stamina. Finally, she receives an elite-level vampiric dagger. Soon after, another system message appears. Her level has increased to 10, and now Zhu Xing has met the requirements for the first-class change and can go to the city to perform it. Thoughtfully, the adventurer decides not to return to the city to change classes. She plans to directly challenge the level 20 boss, the fearsome Rabbit King Alka. Already transformed into a small rabbit for the confrontation, Zhu Xing sees the Rabbit King Alka advance with a high-speed attack. The giant rabbit charges at her without hesitation. Surprised, the little rabbit Zhu Xing reacts to her opponent's attack. She realizes that the Rabbit King is incredibly fast. In an instant, Alka demonstrates her superiority. The larger rabbit hits Zhu Xing squarely, sending her flying with ease. Flying. In the sky, the little rabbit feels the impact of the blow. The Rabbit King shows off his super-strong jump, sending her flying. With full force, the Rabbit King Alka dives towards the ground. He lands with an impact that cracks the earth, while Zhu Xing watches in fear. In a frightening close-up, the Rabbit King reveals his sharp teeth. A menacing glow emanates from them, showing his ferocity. Staring at the little Zhu Xing, the gigantic Alka imposes his presence. The smaller rabbit seems intimidated by the boss's fury. Attempting an evasive maneuver, Zhu Xing jumps to escape. However, the Rabbit King Alka intercepts her in the air with a well-aimed blow. Even at a disadvantage, the little rabbit Zhu Xing does not give up. She claims that she is also a rabbit and knows how to jump, then executes a chain jump. Analyzing the situation, Zhu Xing realizes the difficulty. Alka, being a superior rabbit, has better stats, and her super-strong jump has 3 times the range of her regular jump, making victory unlikely. Despite the clear disadvantage, the little rabbit does not give up. She decides to jump, facing the challenge head-on. Using a nearby tree as support, Zhu Xing launches herself into the air with all her strength. Cutting through the sky, the little rabbit demonstrates her agility in the air. She seems determined in her movement. Swiftly, the adventurer aims at a specific branch of the tree. Her body is a blur in mid-flight. With precision, Zhu Xing lands on the chosen branch. The impact echoes faintly through the forest. After the impact, a notification appears on the screen. Zhu Xing has learned the flexible jump skill, which allows her to change direction in the air. Immediately, the little rabbit uses her new mobility to escape. The Rabbit King Alka attacks the place where she was, destroying the branch. With a smile, Zhu Xing taunts the boss. She states that with her increased mobility, It will not be easy to capture her. Faced with the provocation, the Alka Rabbit King's fury intensifies. His eyes glow with rage. In a fit of rage, the giant rabbit delivers a powerful blow. Zhu Xing, agile, manages to dodge it by the skin of his teeth. Impressed, Zhu Xing analyzes the Rabbit King's capabilities. He has magical attacks, great mobility, attack power, and health, being a versatile monster. Normally, one would need level 30 and a strong class to face him. Without giving up, the Alka Rabbit King launches himself into a ferocious attack. His mouth opens wide to grab the little rabbit. In a frightening close-up, the Rabbit King's sharp teeth dominate the scene. Yue Xing seems about to be caught. At the last moment, the parasite on his head detaches itself. Yue Xing seems to have a plan to escape the situation. Surprisingly, the small green being lands on the Alka Rabbit King's back. A notification indicates that the boss has recovered 10 health, leaving him satisfied. Transformed into the parasite, Zhu Xing takes advantage of the distraction to quickly flee. Confused, the Rabbit King Alka wonders why she didn't continue the chase. In his parasite form, Zhu Xing notices something. The Rabbit King's hatred seems to be only for his previous body. With an evil smile, the little green creature plans something. She says that since it's like this, she won't hold back. Zhu Xing then lists the Rabbit King's abilities. He has a high-speed charge and super jump in addition to summoning thorns and biting. The strategy to defeat him is already ready in his mind. The forest that created him will also be his tomb. In the blue sky, some white clouds float peacefully. A light breeze seems to blow. Near a fallen log, a brown rabbit rests on its back. It seems to be enjoying the sunny day in the forest. Suddenly, the brown rabbit starts jumping through the grass. We can see Zhu Xing as a parasite on its head with a flower. Taking a close-up of the rabbit's fur, we see its eyes opening. It seems to wake up from a sleep. Acting in a cute way, the controlled bunny calls out to the king. She moves her body with hearts floating around. King Rabbit Alka watches the scene a little confused. He seems surprised by the sudden approach. Without hesitation, the giant rabbit jumps on the smaller bunny. Zhu Xing is still on the bait's head. Satisfied with the result, Zhu Xing wants the king to have fun. She then comments that she will not participate in what comes next and undoes the control. A green tentacle appears between the trees. Zhu Xing shouts that she will parasitize again. Quickly, the parasite lodges itself in the head of a giant praying mantis. Zhu Xing now has a new body. Now in control of the mantis, Zhu Xing declares that the king's greatest weakness has been exposed. She tries to activate the pedicure master skill, but the conditions are not met and the activation fails. The rabbit used as bait is seriously injured. Her health bar shows only 30 points remaining. Furiously, the Rabbit King Alka roars at the little creature. He seems ready to devour her and regain his strength. In control of the praying mantis, Zhu Xing realizes the king's intention. He wants to use the rabbit to heal himself, but she will not allow it. Quickly, Zhu Xing undoes the insect's control. She shouts, "Release Parasite and then parasitize," aiming at a new target. The green tentacle shoots out and lodges itself in the Rabbit King's head. Zhu Xing now controls the giant rabbit. Under Zhu Xing's command, the Rabbit King leaps after the defenseless rabbit. A chase begins through the forest. Mounted on the king, Zhu Xing chases the rabbit. The little one thinks that escape is futile and that there is no point in running anymore. Zhu Xing then guides the Rabbit King to a giant tree. A petrified level 10 tree man appears imposingly. Zhu Xing has the Rabbit King capture the small bait. At the same moment, vines from the giant tree advance to trap him. The Rabbit King is caught and suspended in the air by the vines. Zhu Xing says that, without much, attack, he can control him for crucial seconds. Immobilized, Zhu Xing activates a plan ability on the king. She sucks his nutrients with accelerated absorption. With this technique, Zhu Xing prevents the Rabbit King from recovering his health. The material for his healing is being stolen. The Rabbit King struggles angrily, but is weakening. Zhu Xing warns that this is only the beginning of his suffering. Appearing on top of the tree man, Zhu Xing smiles maliciously. She asks the king if he imagined what she was planning. The little rabbit used as bait is seriously injured. Soon after, Zhu Xing's parasite finds a new host. Now it's the turn of the poisonous fire ant phalanx. The poisonous ants march in formation under Zhu Xing's command. They prepare for a concentrated acid attack. Despite their efforts, the Rabbit King's defeat seems certain. Zhu Xing switches control between monsters, using their unique skills. Her most crucial task now is to control the level 9 deep forest slime. Its corrosion is its most frequent attack. The sticky slime attaches itself to the Rabbit King's paws, starting to dissolve them. The paw-pairing master skill is activated. With the corrosion, the Rabbit King takes constant damage of 10 points. Its health bar quickly plummets. Suddenly, luck smiles on Zhu Xing. Paw-pairing master activates its instant kill, and the Rabbit King's HP is reduced to 0. A notification appears. Zhu Xing has defeated the Alka Rabbit King, a boss lord. As a reward, she gains the Hermit's Ring. In addition to the item, Zhu Xing learns post-parasitism syndrome, a skill to give one last order to the host. Another system message appears for the victor. Zhu Xing has reached level 10 and needs to go to the city to change classes. In the system appears the Hermit's Ring, a heroic level equipment. He quickly puts the ring on his finger, all excited. Although it's not as good as a resurrection ring, its attributes are incredible. In the background, we see the defeated giant rabbit while the green one celebrates. With a wicked look, he thinks that with this ring, he'll be able to do many things. In a distant forest, a voice says that memories from the past can be reviewed. Suddenly, a blonde girl appears cutting through the brush with her sharp scythe. She thinks that freeing herself from human limitations is a wonderful feeling. The mysterious girl then stops in a clearing in the forest, observing the surroundings. Finally, she says she has found the lair of the Rabbit King Sakar. Cautiously, she peeks from behind a tree, watching attentively. The girl then spots the giant rabbit sleeping peacefully near its burrow. She thinks that since it's a level 20 boss, it might drop the Hermit's Ring. So the girl decides to switch weapons, and with a glow, several swords appear. She then chooses a short dagger and prepares for a stealth attack. The rabbit's alert range is 5 meters, and fleeing would trigger its magic. Determined, she says goodbye and rushes quickly toward her sleeping target. With a swift motion, her charge cuts through the wind in her approach. The combatant then jumps with force, cracking the ground with the impact of her charge. In an agile sequence, she propels her body upward, ready for the final blow. Surprised, she wonders how there can be a demonic tree in the Rabbit King's territory. Upon landing on the cracked ground, she remains alert for any suspicious movement. Suddenly, earth spikes emerge from the ground, launching the combatant into the air. She then realizes that the Rabbit King used earth spikes, and the mechanism has changed. Wide-eyed, the girl is shocked by the boss's unexpected shift. Unexpectedly, the giant rabbit makes a super-strong leap toward her. The airborne adventurer barely dodges the rabbit's powerful attack. Still in the air, she wonders if the rabbit is using high-speed attacks. The monster then jumps again, preparing a crushing blow from above. With fury, the big rabbit descends with full force, ready to finish off the intruder in its territory. The girl is violently thrown to the ground by the explosion's force. The impact raises a cloud of dust and wooden shards everywhere. She rolls on the ground, unable to stop due to the intensity of the blow received. Fallen and dazed, the adventurer can barely move as the rabbit approaches. The giant rabbit then hovers over the defeated girl with a victorious gaze. With a wicked smile, the rabbit says it's a fresh human body to play with. Suddenly, the green one appears and comments that he didn't expect to catch a player so quickly. There's a brief explanation about post-parasitism syndrome and the abilities of Rabbit King Alkar. The green being then shouts, "Parasite," and leaps toward the girl lying on the ground. Immediately, green tentacles wrap around the blonde's body, completely immobilizing her. The girl's eyes remain closed for a moment, sensing the new presence. Suddenly, her eyes open, and in them we see the reflection of the small green being. Now possessed, she stands up triumphantly and shouts that she's finally human again. With the parasite on her head, she stretches, testing her new body. She then performs some agile movements to get used to her newly acquired mobility. Next, a holographic screen appears, and she analyzes the host's attributes. The being thinks it would be better if things were more balanced, but as long as it's a human body, it will do. He considers that to properly use the parasite, he needs to control multiple bodies and adapt. With a sparkle in his eyes, the parasite gets an idea for a perfectly fitting class. He then decides to become a necromancer, but for that he'll need a basic class first. Excited, she runs toward the beginner's village, shouting that she's coming. Suddenly, a fierce wolf appears with a deadly attack ready to tear apart. Skillfully, the girl, now wielding a scythe, faces the wolf that leaps at her. With a smile, she thinks that high damage and speed make up for the low health with her skills. In front of 3 wolves, she asks if they'll come one by one or all at once. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the forest, someone celebrates their luck with a scroll and a pet egg. A group rejoices after defeating a giant snake and discusses the beast tamer class. A mage offers the scroll to the group's leader, suggesting he becomes a beast tamer. A healer praises the leader, saying his skills saved everyone from returning to the city. The warrior refuses, saying he prefers his own path and that they need to keep their advantage to loot others. The blonde observes the trio as they plan to improve their gear and stay near the village entrance. The healer then approaches a fallen body to check the items it dropped. Hidden, the girl with the parasite thinks the first team she found is a famous PK group. They use their initial advantage to attack newcomers near the village who are weak and many. Suddenly, the green parasite flies rapidly toward the young healer who's distracted. The girl holds the spherical object and wonders what it could be in her hand. The parasite in the girl's palm then begins to show a face with a wicked smile. Far away, the group's mage celebrates for finally obtaining the tamer scroll. As the mage stands up, the healer behind him seems to be doing something suspicious. The girl then pushes the body of the fallen player, and his healing staff drops to the ground. On the ground, we see a pile of assorted items like coins and various equipment. The now possessed young woman says there are many good items, and the mage asks what she's doing. She then begins to take off her white robes, and the mage is shocked by her behavior. As she continues undressing, the teammate doesn't understand what's going on. The girl then touches the mage's shoulder, approaching him with a hidden intent. He says he appreciates her kindness but asks not to rush things. Suddenly, the green parasite jumps swiftly toward the face of the unsuspecting mage. The small being then sticks to his face and completely takes over in an instant. In the eye of a creature, we see the reflection of the group's leader with a blood-stained dagger. The warrior smiles, showing off the meat and viper hide he obtained as a reward. In the forest, we see red trails dripping down the trees and also across the forest floor. The brute says it worked, and with weapons and armor crafted, things are stable now. He thinks this is an epic scroll, and that before reaching level 500, there will be no barriers. On the screen appears the Death Knight class scroll, a hybrid class, both physical and magical. The man ponders that with such a rare class, perhaps he could join the Dark Temple. With a wave of his hand, he seems to dismiss some earlier concern or thought. With a dirty hand, he tells them to leave and return to the city immediately. In the area, the bodies of his former companions lie scattered and stripped on the forest floor. The warrior looks at the scene in surprise, seemingly not understanding what happened there. He then smiles and asks if they want a wild fight, since he had already suspected them. Puzzled by the silence, he wonders why there's no more movement coming from the pair. The man then asks if the other is still a newbie and if he needs any help. He approaches and says that, as a gentleman, the other should be more proactive in such a situation. Suddenly, the shirtless boy attacks him with a burst of sharp golden energy. The warrior is thrown backward by the unexpected force of his companion's strike. Lying on the ground, he asks why he was attacked, since he just wanted to help, and wonders if the other rebelled. The healer then launches a sphere of purple energy toward the fallen leader. The purple slime hits the man's face, leaving him blinded and confused by the attack. Furious, he shouts for them to remove the negative effect that was cast on him. While the warrior is incapacitated, the two possessed companions prepare to attack. Soon after, the two possessed companions collapse to the ground, and the warrior is left standing alone. With his face still covered in slime, he confusedly asks what happened to his allies. Leaning against a tree, the blonde girl with the parasite mentions post-parasitism syndrome. Quickly, the young woman charges with her scythe in a fast attack against the unsuspecting warrior. With a victorious smile, she says the two bodies served their purpose, and now it's her turn. The adventurer then leaps from the top of the tree, scythe in hand, aiming at the group leader. With a descending and powerful strike, she attacks with her weapon toward the man. The warrior manages to narrowly dodge the scythe's blow as it cuts through the air. Still partially blinded, he is surprised by the agility and strength of this new opponent. The possessed girl mid-air prepares for another attack against the stunned warrior. With a swift and precise move, she delivers another strike with her scythe aimed at her target. The blonde uses her scythe to support herself on the ground after the attack barely misses. With the parasite on her head, she comments that her opponent is agile and has good reflexes. The warrior then says she has no idea who she's messing with and that she dared attack him. With a whistling gesture, he seems to summon reinforcements to deal with the new threat. Several other players appear on the doesn't stand a chance. Another henchman with twin daggers prepares for a stealth attack, ready to ambush. The assassin charges forward, his dagger gleaming, ready for a quick and precise strike. A cloud of dust rises with the speed of the movement. On the battlefield, a knight with a massive shield positions himself to block any incoming attacks. He reports that the mage and healer have revived and are on their way after losing control of their bodies. The knight believes she is controlling a heroic creature at level 400 and wants to steal it to sell. The group leader then suggests the mage should turn her into a beast tamer and capture her as a pet. Someone asks if the object on her head is the creature they all desire so much. The adventurer with the parasite thinks that if they're prepared, they won't be hit by her power. She considers that if she could parasitize a high-level boss, she would no longer be a rookie. With a wicked smile, she thinks she could rise in the rankings by defeating players and making them lose levels. While she daydreams, the knight leaps forward with his spear ready for a surprise attack. The girl reacts quickly and dodges the knight's strike as he charges with his shield. The group leader appears behind her with his sword raised, ready for a strong blow. He delivers a crescent-shaped slash, but the young woman skillfully evades the attack. An assassin silently appears behind her and tries a venomous strike with his dagger. The blade grazes her face, but the adventurer avoids the danger. Another enemy attempts a strike with his scythe, but the blonde defends against the incoming attack. She drives her own scythe into the ground to gain support and launch herself upward. With a powerful kick, the girl disarms the opponent, who drops his sword in mid-air. In an acrobatic move, she leaps over the enemies, showcasing her agility and skill. One of the enemies spits out a dark liquid after being hit by the skilled combatant. The adventurer thinks she understands why they formed a party to kill rookies. She says she's not an ordinary specialist and that this body holds a powerful ability. Her scythe then glows as she prepares to use her mastery over different weapons. With a sharp gaze, she observes the items left on the ground by the defeated players. The remaining enemies are confused by the girl's sudden pause in the middle of the battle. She starts collecting the items from the ground, saying she still doesn't have many weapons in her backpack. The mage and healer arrive running, saying they used a teleportation scroll. The girl quickly stores the items in her bag as reinforcements approach. With the collection complete, she carries a huge sack on her back, ready to escape from there. The blonde girl, with a cunning smile, wonders if the 5 people together see her as a game boss. She orders them to stay put. She quickly thanks them for the hospitality and tells them not to worry about sorting their items as she flees from the group. One of the pursuers then yells for the assassin to go after her because the girl's agility is too high and only he can catch up to her. Even after running a lot, the assassin realizes he won't be able to reach her and thinks he needs to take an agility potion. Immediately, he grabs a vial containing a strange blue liquid to use on himself. Without hesitation, the man applies the potion to his neck, seeking an instant speed boost for the chase. Now much faster, the assassin manages to close the distance between him and the fleeing blonde. Panting, the pursuer complains that if he hadn't died and returned to level 9, he would already have the right class to catch her easily. As she runs, the girl looks back and the man wonders why she gave him a beast tamer book worth 10,000. The girl then says that switching to a basic class without high stats is a dream, and if he takes care of the warrior, the scroll will be his. The warrior then yells that the price is high, but they are companions and threatens his teammate if he betrays him. Suddenly, the blonde girl stumbles in midair as a voice asks what happened. With a loud thud, the girl crashes to the ground, scattering her items along the trail, startling everyone. From above, we see the young woman fallen as the three adventurers quickly approach her, curious about the fall. The assassin, surprised, wonders if she really fell and says they've caught her now. Right after, the blue-haired mage warns them to be careful because the summoned beast could attack from a blind spot. Immediately, a giant rabbit with glowing eyes appears behind the mage, who looks terrified. With no time to react, the blue-haired summoner is caught off guard by the massive rabbit and screams in desperation. The giant rabbit then attacks the healer, and the blonde explains that she hung the Rabbit King's body to avoid being looted, and now he's back. Promptly, the knight in his heavy armor raises his shield to block the giant rabbit's strike. The rabbit then uses an ability called Carrot Spike that quickly shoots up from the ground. With a scream of pain, the knight is hit squarely by the giant carrot and is thrown far away. His face twists in agony as he is completely defeated by the surprise attack of the giant rabbit. The warrior's body crashes heavily to the ground, and the assassin watches everything in shock at the brutal scene. Terrified, the man wonders what kind of damage that is, since not even the warrior withstood a single blow, and says it's a level 20 boss. Realizing the danger, the adventurer begins to flee in desperation, shouting that he can't afford to lose any more levels. However, the giant rabbit leaps toward him, ready to attack the seemingly defenseless assassin. The rabbit barely misses the strike, and a mysterious voice still says he won't be taken down instantly. The warrior talks about the spoils they got on their expedition through the forest. He says they got 3,000 gold coins and 2 class change scrolls, in addition to a monster egg and 50 pieces of white and 6 green equipment. Soon after, he smiles when he sees a mask he got from a strong monster. This mask increases speed by 10% and decreases detection rate. The little creature says it's time for him to change class and leave level 10. Suddenly, the blonde girl appears wearing a mask and celebrating his return. She is happy to have returned to a beautiful and useful body for her adventures. However, the warrior is on the ground unconscious and all hurt from fighting so much. The blonde then uses a teleportation scroll to return to the city, but as expected, she can't teleport by herself and ends up taking the unconscious warrior with her to the main city. Arriving in the city, the girl quickly goes to the guild building to register. The blonde is very shaken when she realizes that she was killed as soon as she arrived in the city. Now she thinks it was no coincidence that she died so quickly. She then assumes that someone is watching her and wonders why. The controlled blonde wonders if someone changed classes and is hiding their identity. She soon remembers that they were together, and now she is being hunted. She gets scared and wonders if her advantages are still good. We see that a group of people are watching her as soon as she arrives in the city. The group members are very surprised to see her leave the starting city. A big guy in the group smiles when he sees her arriving confidently in the city. Someone says that that group is famous for hunting new players. One person says that the blonde is marked and that now she is totally screwed. They also say that they were robbed by that group and lost items. A guy stomps the ground in anger for having done this to him and his friends. The camera focuses on the blonde who walks normally towards the group. The big guy yells and tells her to stop walking and stay right there. A wizard talks about the blonde's animals and wonders how she got them. He assumes that how the monsters are weak, she must have used an artifact. The wizard then says that if they can catch the girl, they will get rich. The blonde then looks up with a look of superiority and says something. She says to send the strongest to fight her without fear. An aura appears in the blonde's hand, and she prepares to fight everyone. After changing weapons 12 times, her attack increases by 240%. The girl then starts running towards them to attack without mercy. She says that no one likes to see a battle as easy as the one that is going to happen. We see the blonde going towards a dark and gloomy mountain. She says that there is the secret dungeon of a blacksmith from the initial city. The blonde says that the dungeon is called Contaminated Light, and that it is very dangerous. She says that there are several dark monsters in there, and that they are difficult. But she says that the blacksmith's weapons are made to kill these monsters. So she draws her sword and enters the dark cave without any fear. Several bats start flying around her, and she prepares to fight. The controlled blonde then screams to change weapons and prepares to use another ability. She screams to go straight to the bottom of the mountain to find what she needs. Suddenly, she starts spinning her weapon around herself very quickly. We then see that the blonde is at the bottom of the cave and meets an old wizard. The wizard tells her to deliver a letter to the Temple of Light and says some things. We then see a very old and blind man holding a letter. The blonde says that she came there to save him, and the wizard asks if he sent her. He asks how she knows his name and where she came from. The girl says that she is a follower of the Temple of Light, and that she came as soon as she found out. She thanks the God of Light for still being alive and with hope. The wizard says that she has a pure and divine aura like that of an angel. He says that the light has not abandoned him, but that he won't be able to handle. The blonde then sees a magic circle, and the wizard calls her to enter it. The wizard tells her to fight the monsters, while he teleports her. He asks her to take the letter and the news of his death to the temple. The blonde then thinks that the wizard's death can take 3 different paths. She thinks that if she delivers the letter, she will gain more life and become a light. She also thinks that if she kills him, she can become a dark class. But she thinks she is not strong enough, so she prefers the Temple of Light. The wizard says that he will give her a gift before he dies there. Then he asks the blonde to hold a shiny golden orb and tells her to use the gift to become stronger and survive. He says that that weapon is unique and that it is called the Source of Light. It has 128 attack and 30% speed. In addition to sucking other weapons and having a special form for each one, the girl then takes the orb and uses it to strengthen her sword. The girl then sees the sword transform into a celestial weapon. We then see the blonde holding the new sword with a serious expression. The sword can transform into any weapon in the game. Soon after, she returns to the real world and remains in the magic circle. Now she can become any class she wants in the game. A bright light begins to shine and teleports the girl away. Arriving in the city, the girl goes straight to a class store. The blonde opens the store door with a smile on her face and very excited. A man says that that world is dangerous and asks which class she wants. The man says that without a strong class, she will not be able to survive. The blonde says that she wants all the class scrolls in the store for herself. The salesman says that the scrolls are expensive, and for her to choose well, the man says that each scroll costs 100 gold coins, and she gets scared. But she ignores him and thanks him for the tips and says that she will take them all. The man then shows all the basic scrolls to the girl. He says that there are 10 basic classes and that she should look for the others. A system message appears showing the classes she gained. One of the classes she gained is the assassin, and she is happy. The girl then thinks that even though she is a parasite's body, she can evolve. She says that having several classes will help her escape from many situations. The little animal tells her to become a wizard first and then find a necromancer book. He tells her to merge the classes and become a strong special class. The man is then surprised by the choices and asks the girl something. He asks how she knows about the rare classes and makes a strange face. The man says that because he knows so much, he can give her a special scroll. She then becomes very happy and raises her hand to accept the mission. A message appears telling her to go after a special fugitive. The man from the store shows his eyes shining and talks about the mission. He says that behind the mountain there is a man named Adol and says something. The man says that if she kills the wizard, she will have everything she has ever wanted. The girl then accepts the mission without thinking twice and leaves the store. We see a map showing the blonde's route to a place, the girl running towards a place she needs to go. Someone then says that she is very lucky to find items. Rare. Another one says that the players don't even have green equipment yet. Other members of the group say that she ruined their plans. The guys say that they are stronger and will hunt her without mercy. The blonde then sees the group from afar and says hi to them with her hand. The guys then get very scared when they see her approaching. She then takes her scythe and attacks the enemies without mercy. The blonde then uses a special attack and knocks the enemies to the ground. We then see that the blonde won a ring after defeating the players. She takes the ring and sees its attributes and is happy with the result. This ring increases intelligence and resets other attributes of the person. The little animal tells her to use the ring and that it is perfect for her. The blonde then distributes all her points in intelligence and vitality. She puts 100 points in each one to have more power and resistance. The blonde then chooses the Parasite ability to improve her skills. A message appears saying that she has agreed to evolve her ability. She then needs to host a being that has 3 times more life than her. If she succeeds, she can share everything with the being she hosts. She can steal everything from the being she hosts and become stronger, or she can infect and control the being's body forever. She wonders which of the 3 options is the best for her to use. Our blonde arrives at the entrance of the cave and says that this is the place. The blonde then wonders why it is so dark and if it is so late. We then see the girl walking through the dark hole without any fear. The blonde then enters the cave and sees the wizard sitting on the ground. The wizard then asks why she came back there when he has already given her everything. The girl then wonders why he is acting strange with her. The wizard says that he has already given her the weapon and everything he had so she can move on. He says that he will not last much longer and asks her to leave soon. Suddenly, the wizard starts laughing in an evil and scary way. The girl says that someone told her to kill him to gain a class. She then asks who told her to kill him and gets confused. The blonde says that every mission has more than one way to be done. She then realizes that the mastermind of the store is the one who is behind everything and is shocked. The wizard then says that the one behind everything is the mastermind of the store. The blonde then tells the wizard to wait a bit so she can sort things out. We see the blonde running in the opposite direction to leave the cave. Upon leaving the cave, she sees the group trying to fight a monster. The protagonist then catches the attention of a girl and points at her. She then picks up the girl and runs away quickly. The warrior of the group asks the group's healer to heal him. Our wizard then wonders where their healer went. The two then tell them to run away because they won't be able to defeat the tree. They then run far away so they don't get caught by the monster. The blonde tells the wizard to heal the girl and points at the 2 of them. The wizard tells them to give up because not even the angels can heal her. He tells her to enter the magic circle and gives her something. She then takes the item and sees that it is a golden magic symbol. She says that she will find someone who can make the circle shine. The girl then says who has a way to cure him and asks to try. The wizard says that it's not worth her trying to save him. The blonde then puts her hands around the wizard and tells her to hold on that little creature, then shouts for her to use the Parasite ability on him. She then uses the ability and begins to absorb the wizard into herself. We see that the wizard only had 1,000 health, and she has 1,200 A. Message appears showing that the blonde managed to host him. The wizard then begins to smile as the blonde falls backwards. A message appears showing that she completed the mission. She gains the necromancer scroll after hosting the wizard. The wizard then opens the status screen and sees his attributes. He is shocked to see that he has become a legendary NPC of level 500. Our wizard then says that she used a very evil ability on him. The wizard says that since he is going to die, he will use her body. Suddenly, several dark monsters appear, and the girl is scared. And the wizard says to use the staff to fight and defend herself from the monsters. Our wizard then uses light magic to try to defend herself from the monsters. We then see that the blonde is screaming with a lot of pain in her body. He then uses the staff to destroy the monsters easily. The wizard says that he was stuck at level 10 for a long time and now he's going to level up. He then uses the scroll and becomes a powerful necromancer. We then see his transformation into a dark class. The wizard then gains the abilities to control and create undead, in addition to having a personal graveyard and having returned to first place. A message appears, asking which skill she wants to evolve. The wizard asks if she remembers that he said there were monsters. He is happy that she will be able to test her new skills. The wizard then uses his new skills and summons several monsters. The old man laughs maniacally as the dark energy envelops him, forming menacing shapes and figures. The dark energy intensifies and the power levels increase rapidly, jumping from 55 to 78 in a short time. A dark figure stands amidst the growing power, watching. The man exclaims that he has fought against darkness all his life, and that he will not allow anyone to use his body for whatever they please. His expression is one of pure rage. The transformed figure is much larger, towering over the old man who is wielding a staff. The enhanced man is surrounded by dark magic, looking much more menacing. The mustachioed man is surprised and yells at the other to stop, complaining that he is being petty. He seems desperate for the other to consider what he is saying. The transformed man roars as the dark magic seems to flow through him and increase his power. He looks intimidating and powerful. The smaller man questions why the other is using dark magic if he is of the light. He seems confused about the other's capabilities, even as they fight. The transformed man declares that he is willing to fall into darkness and abandon his faith for the goddess of light, prepared to suffer in the fires of hell forever. Enraged, the transformed man screams that they will both be destroyed together. He looks terrifying, with demonic eyes and sharp teeth. The transformed man says that the other does not possess any dark energy, but has the power to subdue him. He believes that the other is important to the dark god. The transformed figure decides that as long as he kills the old man, the dark god will suffer a great loss. He intends to take the light with him. The old man looks away, saying that he does not understand anything that is happening. The transformed figure prepares to transform the old man into a member of the dark race. He declares that he will use his life as the price. The old man is taken aback and looks frightened as he turns to the transformed figure. He seems nervous about what is about to happen. The old man screams in alarm as the dark energy engulfs him. He looks frightened and unsure of what to do with the power that is about to come. The green one is surrounded by dark magic, panicking and screaming that he is going to die. The figure seems to be in panic about the situation. The creature stops, confused, questioning what it means to be transformed into a dark race, and wondering if it will simply be killed. A screen displays a message saying that the creature has been transformed into a black hellworm, and its racial value has increased by 10 points. The man is happy because his racial value has increased, and his intelligence has doubled. He seems happy and is smiling broadly. A screen shows that his level is now 10. His racial value is 20. His HP is 2,500 and other statistics are also displayed. The transformed man smiles, saying that the old man is too happy and too soon because something is about to happen that he will not like. A close-up of the transformed man's sinister smile. He seems to know something that the old man does not and is enjoying it. A dark energy comes out of a hole in the cave. The light from the energy is almost gone, and it seems to disappear into the darkness. A screen displays a message saying that they have killed a level 600 Hell Angel and have been given the title of Godslayer. The old man questions the title. A screen displays the benefits of the Godslayer title, including ignoring divine power and randomly extracting values from the god race when killing higher-level deities. It is also said that his level has increased. The old man is happy that he has managed to level up and is proud of how quickly he is progressing. He is excited and full of energy. The creature looks irritated and seems to be wondering why the old man is so happy. The creature's face is contorted and it looks suspicious. The old man is surrounded by white flames and wonders why his body is spontaneously combusting. He looks around anxiously, confused by the events that have occurred. A warning sign flashes, indicating that the opposition between light and darkness has unleashed the flames of annihilation, and he will soon die by them. The old man becomes furious, realizing that he has been tricked. He accuses the other of having tricked him into transforming the race. The green creature screams to be freed from the parasitic bond as it leaps away from the old man, who is engulfed in white flames. The creature seems determined to free itself. The green one says that the flames cannot be extinguished and that it looks like it will have to kill itself again. The creature looks defeated, but determined. The system screen says that those killed by the flames of annihilation cannot be resurrected and that it will die in 60 seconds. The creature becomes enraged and screams that it has spent too much time leveling up and that it will not accept this fate. The creature refuses to give up. The creature screams that it will not accept this and that there must be a way out. The creature looks anxiously at the warning sign, trying to make sense of things. The green creature thinks that neither a resurrection ring nor a healing potion will work, as two timers are displayed counting down from 58 and 55 seconds, respectively. The greenie picks up a scroll, thinking it's the only thing left. It seems to be the creature's only chance of surviving the flames. A screen shows that the scroll is a profession fusion scroll, epic grade, and that any two profession scrolls can be fused to create a hidden profession. The creature activates the profession fusion scroll, merging the elite grade tamer profession with the epic grade necromancer profession. It screams as it does so, hoping to save itself. A screen shows the probabilities of different hidden professions being created, ranging from elite to mythic. The chances of getting the best profession are very slim. A countdown appears, showing only 35 seconds remaining. The creature is in a desperate situation, running out of time to save itself. The creature activates the Start Over ability it gained from returning to the past, hoping that it will save it from the abyss. A screen indicates that they have triggered a probability event that is guaranteed to succeed once per day, increasing their chances of surviving the flames. The greenie screams at the top of her lungs to fuse the scroll into a legendary rank, desperate to survive the deadly flames. A screen appears, saying that the fusion was successful and that the creature has obtained the legendary rank hidden task scroll. With only 28 seconds remaining, the creature is surrounded by white flames. The old man watches from afar as the creature looks around in panic. The creature screams, begging for any job that will be given to it, desperate for any skill that will save it. A message indicates that they are changing jobs to a legendary grade hidden job, described as Nether Dragon Cavalry Commander. With only 20 seconds remaining, the creature throws 2 dragon eggs. The creature decides that they might as well use these dragon eggs. The creature kicks the old man as they leap towards it with the dragon eggs in tow. The old man is sent flying away. The creature says that it will be used as material as it stomps on the old man. With 13 seconds and 8 seconds remaining on the timers, the transformation is nearly complete. With 5 seconds left, the creature is still surrounded by flames, but asks if it is ready yet. With seconds left, the creature decides it will start over and train again. It will not be afraid. The creature knows this is the best it can do. As the timer reaches 0, there is a bright flash of light. A small dragon girl appears next to the creature. The creature looks confused and surprised. The dragon girl inhales the flames, seemingly extinguishing them and saving the creature. The creature looks in disbelief as it looks at the dragon girl. As the timer reaches 0, The creature is thrilled to have survived. The dragon girl is sitting on top of the creature with a tail animation. He is lost, with the dragon girl now sitting on top of him. The dragon girl calls him her first demonic pet. She seems happy with the result of the transformation. The boy sees two dragon girls appear, looking curious and innocent. He is even more confused by this strange result. The dragon girl beckons the boy to come closer, calling him daddy. He seems stunned by her unexpected behavior. He yells at her to get down, expressing his dislike for her. The dragon girl is enjoying his reaction and taunts him from above. Two dragon girls sit on the boy, who struggles under their weight. Their loyalty is rated at 0, demonstrating their lack of obedience. The boy is irritated because, even as a mount, the dragon girl does not listen to him. He regrets having used the dragon eggs for the transformation. He angrily orders the dragon girl to be a good mount. He is determined to make her obey him, despite her rebellious nature. Steam emanates from the boy, symbolizing his frustration and determination. He is ready to train the dragon girl to follow his orders. The dragon girl says that even as a pet and demonic mount, she has absolute combat power and obedience. The dragon girl walks away, mentioning that she can even fly on her own. The boy watches her, still unsure about the situation. She suddenly stops, realizing that she still cannot fly as her mount level is too low. The boy looks at her with a confused expression. A screen displays the dragon girl's stats, showing her species value, level, HP, and other attributes. She is very powerful for her level. Impressed by the dragon girl's skills and stats, the boy notes her Dragon King status, immunity, and mastery of dark magic. The boy plans to increase her loyalty to make her a useful mount, despite her strong stats. The dragon girl falls from the boy's head, causing him to look back in surprise. The dragon girl screams aggressively as the boy expresses his fear. The boy is about to offer a piece of meat to the dragon girl in an attempt to make her like him. A piece of meat is being offered. The meat looks fresh, and the boy hopes that the dragon girl will find it appetizing. The boy explains that feeding her is the most effective way to increase her affection for him. The boy offers the piece of meat to the dragon girl, who looks at him expectantly. He nervously waits for her to accept the food. A close-up of the dragon girl's eye shows her intense focus on the offered meat. The dragon girl is about to eat, looking eager and excited. A huge dragon lays an egg, and the egg rests safely in its nest. A monstrous black dragon boasts about eating a hellstone phoenix. The dragon describes devouring a pearly snow leopard from the ice palace. The dragon goes on to describe his favorite foods, mentioning the succulent deep-sea fragrant shrimp and their unique black blood. The dragon details more delicacies, such as the blue-blooded dream shrimp and a 100-toned crystal dragon fish with a golden dream magic pattern. The dragon girl has her mouth full and looks satisfied. The boy seems pleased that she enjoyed the food. The screen shows the dragon girl's loyalty increased by 5 points. She looks at the boy with heart-shaped eyes. The dragon girl lies down on the ground while the boy throws her more treats. He has managed to increase her loyalty through feeding. The dragon girl's loyalty reaches 25, and she smiles happily. The boy's strategy seems to be working to strengthen their bond. The dragon girl is startled by something, showing surprise. The dragon girl roars furiously while the boy screams in terror. The boy has an unlimited food voucher, promising many delicious meals. The voucher allows him to randomly obtain world-class dishes 3 times a day. A plate of leader-class yuanbao pork appears, which will grant him immunity to all toxins for 48 hours. She is interested. He taunts the dragon girl by throwing the meat in her direction. He tries to get her to catch it, to get her attention, but she doesn't budge. Her loyalty increases by 20 points as she devours a piece of meat. She licks her lips. He notices that her loyalty has reached 55, which means they can start leveling up together. He looks out over a forest, preparing for their first training session. He is ready to test everyone's combined strength. He summons the dragon girl, and she disappears in a flash of light. He climbs a tree, wondering if it is the beginning of a high tide. Seen from above, the boy stands in the forest, looking down from the branches. Guards from the Temple of Light appear in the forest. He wonders what they are doing in such a desolate area. In a sunlit forest, a group of knights halts their patrol. The leader watches silently as one of his men rides ahead on a centaur-like mount. Suddenly, the patrol leader shouts an order, pointing his men toward a specific direction in the dense woods. At his command, the mounted knights thunder through the trees, their charge kicking up dust and leaves as they rush to investigate. Hidden in the bushes, a small green creature observes the soldiers. He wonders what the Justice faction is looking for, and what threat they plan to eliminate. A sinister grin spreads across his face as his eyes glow red. He decides that simply watching this unfold would be a waste of a good opportunity. His gaze falls upon a level 6 golden silkworm resting peacefully on a branch, the perfect pawn for his plan. The little creature unleashes a strange green energy, using a parasitic skill to take control of the unsuspecting caterpillar. In an instant, the caterpillar swells to a massive size. The protagonist sits atop its head, now in full control of his new giant mount. He then commands his new puppet to spin a thick web between two large trees, setting a trap for the approaching knights. From its hiding spot, the protagonist has the giant silkworm launch a smaller caterpillar as a projectile through the air. The tiny bug smacks hard against a tree trunk with a loud thud, sticking firmly to the bark. Back on the branch, the giant silkworm sweats nervously, while the small hero on its back remains focused on the plan. Meanwhile, the patrol leader inspects a nearby tree, sensing traces of activity and the faint remnants of light elements. Suddenly, a glob of green goo splatters directly onto his helmet, catching the soldier completely by surprise. He looks down for a moment, his expression hardening with clear annoyance from the unexpected substance. His gaze travels up into the branches, where he finally spots the giant silkworm looking down with a confused expression. Wiping his helmet, the knight mutters about being soiled by a low-level beast, promising to deal with it later. The protagonist realizes that the attack has triggered combat, revealing the enemy's stats. The leader is level 80, with a group bonus. A curious white bird with a red crest lands on the same branch, looking directly at the silkworm and its small master. Annoyed by the stare, the silkworm suddenly lunges forward, striking the unsuspecting bird with full force. The single blow knocks the bird out cold, leaving it slumped on the branch with its crest broken. The protagonist reveals his necromancer skills are still active, casting a spell that engulfs the fallen bird in green energy. A system message announces the summoning of a new undead servant. The bird rises, its eyes now glowing with an eerie green light. The resurrected puppet immediately takes flight, launching itself from the tree branch and soaring into the sky. From its new vantage point, the undead bird can better observe the movements of the guards on the ground below. Its master notes the large number of guards, realizing that their objective must be extremely important. The undead bird's eyes glow intensely, its expression now fierce and ready to carry out its master's will. He realizes that he is on the outer edge of the encirclement. To get any benefits, he must go inside and help them fight. With his plan set, he and his undead bird fly together, soaring deeper into the dense forest below. His fierce caterpillar companion leads the way, smacking a yellow bug aside with a powerful tail whip. The little dragon cheers his friend on, telling him to eat so they can level up while rushing forward. He then joins the fight himself, landing a powerful stomp that crushes a large black ant beneath his feet. However, after trying to take a bite, he discovers that the defeated ant does not taste good at all. His next attempt is on a fiery tree, but he quickly realizes this flaming creature is also completely inedible. He moves on to a slimy green monster, shaking his head with a cry, finding this one unappetizing too. Completely fed up with the terrible food, he declares that he is too angry to eat anything now. The protagonist reassures his crying companion. He tells the little dragon that the monsters she chose were inedible, promising to find her a proper meal. Touched by his words, the small dragon's tears continue to fall. A system message confirms her loyalty to him has increased. He pats her head, deciding to give the silly girl a name. From now on, she will be known as Chi-Chi, which means eat, eat. The hero then points to a nearby white rabbit. He instructs Chi-Chi to roast it using a low-power burst of her dragon flame. Following his command, the little dragon unleashes a torrent of fire, instantly cooking the unsuspecting rabbit where it stood. A system message appears, confirming they obtained a roasted rabbit that restores health. The two companions look at their perfectly cooked meal. Chi-Chi happily starts eating the roasted meat. Her master watches with a smile, telling her to eat slowly and not to choke. After the satisfying meal, some time passes in the quiet forest as the day goes on. A notification confirms that Chi-Chi has reached level 20. The protagonist smirks, impressed by how fast his divine beast levels up. The protagonist reaches level 30, pleased that his HP is now 4,800, making his stats comparable to specialized professionals. Suddenly, a bright light flashes from behind him. Startled, he quickly turns his head to see what is causing the commotion. A massive winged figure materializes in a blinding flash, towering over the small hero in the quiet forest. The brilliant energy swirls and pulses intensely as the mysterious figure begins to take a more solid, defined form. A system message announces that his pet, Chi-Chi, has reached level 20 and entered her growth period, revealing her new humanoid appearance. The newly evolved companion licks her lips with a cheerful expression, announcing that she is already hungry again. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the magnificent Lengbi city, a sprawling metropolis with towering castles and hot air balloons. Within the city stands the grand headquarters of the Light God Hall, an impressive and sacred building reaching for the sky. A blonde woman carrying a large staff solemnly walks up the massive steps, approaching the entrance of the Divine Hall. A blonde woman walks towards the Light God Hall. This grand building marks the beginning of the main story's first chapter. She is Yan Xing, a level 25 light saintess. Her somber expression hints at the heavy responsibility she carries. A memory flashes through her mind. The former light goddess Adal and a high priest fled after stealing the powerful creation item. The new light god is the fugitive's younger brother. His first order was to command the capture of his own sister. In response to his decree, countless soldiers from the Light Army were immediately mobilized to hunt the fugitives down. The army was on the verge of locating the former goddess, their search narrowing with each passing moment. But news of the stolen item had already spread, attracting the attention of the shadowy forces from the Dark God Hall. They ambushed the pair, leading to the high priest's death as he was overwhelmed by their dark magic. The goddess was eventually captured by her brother, but the item was gone, leaving the Dark God Hall as the prime suspect. This new world is defined by a great war between the light and dark factions, forcing every player to choose a side and build their power. The Saintess leveraged a connection from the fugitive to become an epic-level light priestess, giving her an early advantage in her mission. She now stands before the main light god, reporting that she has successfully located the position of the previous fugitive goddess. The powerful deity looks down at her. He notes that he senses the aura of the traitor on her, but decides to place his trust in her. Declaring her a loyal follower of the light, the god rewards her by firing a brilliant beam of holy energy directly toward her. The divine energy strikes her forehead, causing her eyes to go white as the powerful blessing surges through her body. This immense power courses through her weapon, making her staff crackle and glow with an intense radiant light. A system message confirms her weapon. The source of light has been blessed, evolving from a heroic-grade item to a mythical one. Now a mythical weapon, it boasts incredible stats, assimilation skills, and the power to deal double damage to any dark creatures. A system message confirms she has accepted the god's blessing. This allows her to fuse with a weapon and undergo a racial evolution. She reflects that her plan worked perfectly. Choosing the human race was the key to evolving into the powerful primordial light elemental. Her new race is an ancient one from the dawn of creation. It is known as elemental primordial light and has a high value of 80 points. By fusing with the source of light, she also gained the ability to devour other high-level races, allowing her to grow even stronger. The light god then gives his command. He tells her to find the fugitive and promises an even greater blessing for her success. She knows that finding the lost goddess will earn her a mythical artifact forged from heavenly light, a key item for the late-game plot. With her mission clear, she immediately sets off, moving at top speed toward the last known coordinates of the fugitive. Meanwhile, a soldier from the Light Faction patrol is already in the area. He senses the faint presence of light elements in the air. He hesitates for a moment, wondering if he should investigate alone or report back to his captain, unsure of what he is looking for. Suddenly, the soldier whirls around with a shout, sensing a presence and demanding to know who is there. Before he can react, a blazing projectile, shaped like a fiery bird, shoots directly towards his face. The soldier is engulfed in flames. The hero notes the attack successfully cut the guard's health below half. The protagonist appears, commenting on how fragrant the soldier's body is, and guessing he no longer wants it. He declares that since the soldier is too rude to answer, he will simply take over his body for him. The small hero then unleashes his Parasite skill, sending streams of green energy toward the burning guard. Nearby, his companion complains that this was a life-saving move, demanding 10 tons of meat as payment. Now in control of the guard, the protagonist tells her to stop pretending, since he knows her flame recall costs nothing. She looks at the possessed body and calmly tells him to lower his head. The possessed guard kneels on the ground, still enveloped in green parasitic energy, as Chi-Chi stares at him expectantly. She suddenly lunges, grabbing his helmet and angrily arguing that her boomerang flame still costs her energy. Panicked, he quickly agrees to her demands. Satisfied, she tells him she is returning to her pet space and warns him not to forget her food. The protagonist quickly reassures her. Now alone, he thinks about how difficult his pet is to raise. If not for her combat power, he would just use her as a mindless mount. He decides to move, riding his mount deeper into the forest to find out what the Light faction is searching for. He soon merges with a patrol of other centaur-mounted soldiers, galloping alongside them through the dense woods. The patrol leader suddenly raises his hand, ordering his men to halt as they have arrived in the vicinity of their target. But before the squad can stop, the protagonist rushes past them at full speed, leaving the other soldiers watching in shock. The captain wonders which squad this rogue soldier belongs to, as his subordinate asks if they should report this breach of protocol. One of the patrol leaders complains loudly to his men. He gripes about not bathing in 7 days and having no idea what they are looking for. His subordinates shout in agreement, echoing their leader's frustration with the vague and tiresome mission. Meanwhile, the protagonist realizes he has successfully passed the patrol line. Now he thinks everything will depend on his luck. He wonders what the guards are searching for so desperately, whether it is a rare item or some kind of powerful monster. Suddenly, he senses a strange commotion coming from his personal necromancer space, wondering why it has suddenly become active. A swirling green portal materializes in front of him. The possessed guard stands before it, watching the gateway intently. Stepping through, he finds an unconscious woman and a large defeated beast lying on the ground in a peaceful clearing. He kneels beside her and notices a strange golden emblem glowing faintly on her stomach, wondering what it could be. A flashback reveals the intricate mark was placed there by a troublesome old man, its golden light crackling with strange energy. The golden mark on the woman's stomach suddenly glows with an intense light, capturing the possessed guard's attention. He grins, realizing the kind old man must have arranged this opportunity for him, and decides to pursue the lead. However, he stops, thinking that rushing forward in this body will only alert whatever lies ahead. He decides to leave the host, believing it is better to travel light and remain unnoticed. The small creature then darts quickly through the forest, weaving between the trees with incredible speed. After a moment, he comes to a stop on a thick branch, peering out into the dense woods ahead of him. He spots the trail of light fading into the distance, wondering why it disappeared so suddenly. The hero suspects it might have vanished into a barrier, and prepares to investigate further. With his direction set, he points forward, determined to find the source of the mysterious energy. He reaches out and confirms his suspicion. There is indeed a glowing green barrier right in front of him. The small hero pushes against the magical shield, causing the surface to ripple like water under his touch. He grins, thinking this game is amazing for providing such great opportunities and benefits for its players. Without any hesitation, the small creature leaps forward, passing directly through the invisible wall. On the other side, he discovers a peaceful clearing with a gentle stream flowing through a sunlit forest. In the water, he spots a blonde woman bathing alone in the stream, her back turned towards him. Her expression is serious, and a strange dark marking is visible just above the water on her chest. She scoops a handful of water, her movements slow and deliberate in the quiet stream. She then stretches, rising from the water and revealing the full intricate design of the tattoo on her chest. The protagonist launches a probing attack, sending a volley of thorny green projectiles flying through the air. They lodge harmlessly in the blonde woman's long hair, getting her attention without causing any real damage. Startled by the sudden disturbance, she whirls around in the water, demanding to know who is there. Her gaze travels up to a nearby tree branch, where she spots the small green creature looking down at her curiously. She quickly gets out of the stream and wraps herself in a simple white cloth, her hand instinctively covering the tattoo on her chest. Now covered, she steps onto the grassy bank. Her expression is calm but wary as she faces the strange intruder. The woman thinks that the light barrier should block anyone with a light or dark mark, confused about how he could have entered. A strange feeling of unease washes over her. She feels a palpitation, as if she is about to be cursed. Meanwhile, the protagonist stares in shock. He only meant to test her stats, and did not expect this strange outcome at all. A system message reveals her identity. She is Attalus, the former goddess of light, with a level over 1000, but her divinity is shattered. The former goddess looks up at the strange creature, her expression hardening with suspicion and annoyance at the unexpected intrusion. Thanks for watching.